Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about what is a process, what are the steps of a process, what are the states a process transits, and what are threads. A process is simply a program in execution. It is more than a mere program code, sometimes known as a text section. It also contains many other sections. The first one is known as a stack, which contain the temporary data such as a returning function address, the temporary variables like the memory parameter and all. Next is the data section, which contains the global variable. Another section is the heap section, which can be dynamically allocated during the execution time of a process. Now all together including in a single process. Now the two or more processes can execute in the same program, but they are considered as the same or two separate program in execution sequence. For example, if several users uses a copy of the mail program or a single user is using multiple copy of a web browser program, both are separate process. Maybe the text section is same, but the data, heap and the stack section may be differ from each other. Or a process can spawn a new process until they are processing together. This new process can terminate and after that the process can execute its normal operation. Now there are many states of the processes. As the process executes, it changes its status. The process state can be defined in terms as the current activity of the processes. The processes are as follows. The first one is, it is a new process. The new process is the process which is just created and made it into the main memory. The next process is the ready process. The ready process is it awaiting for the execution and allotment of the CPU. The next process state is the running state. The running state is the process is actually executing in this state. The next state is the awaiting state or waiting state. In this waiting state, the process is waiting for some event to occur. That can be an IO request or from some signal to receive. The next state is the terminated state. In this terminated state, the process has done its execution and all the memory is deallocated. Now we will see that how a process transits from one state to another state. As the process is new in the new state, as it is ready in the new memory, so it is admitted and put it into the ready queue. Now as the process is ready and waiting for the CPU allocation. So when the CPU is allocated to the process, then it goes to the running state. So the dispatched transition made it to the running state. Now after running for a while, it may wait for some event to occur or an interrupt has occurred. The two situations can occur. So from running state, it can goes back to the ready state if an interrupt has occurred. Now again the process is running and it can wait for some event to occur like a IO event or a signal receive. So it can go to the running state to the waiting state when an IO event wait is there. Now when the process is in the waiting state when the process is waiting in the waiting state, after the completion of the IO event, it can again goes back to the ready state. So we can see that every time the process is in the waiting state, it has to move to the ready queue again to again its consuming execution. So again it has to go to the dispatch from the running state and again it has to consume its execution. So from the running state, when the process has finished all its execution, it has moved to the terminated state, and via exit system call it can be done. So these are all for the transition of a process state, and this process state can be described very briefly using this process state diagram. Here we can see that one process can be at a running state at any the processor of the system, or any process can be in the ready and waiting queue at the same processor too, or in the different processor. So these process states are very important in the process management. The next part we will discuss is the thread. The process is a program in execution with a single thread of instruction. Now, when a process is running in a word processor, it is executed in a single thread of instruction in that word processor. The single thread of instruction allows the process to run at one task at a time. For example, simultaneously a user cannot type the character in a word processor and run the spell checker at the same time. So the processor can allow only one process at that time. After the process completion, it can continue with another process. Now in some modern operating system, the multiprocessor environment can support multi-threaded execution, which allows a process to execute one or more tasks at a time. So this thread we will discuss later, and now that is all for the thread, process and process state. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.